a job that carries risk.
This is something that's high risk and high frequency, and we deal with it a lot.
The frequency of close calls and what can be done about them. Plus, how cold weather and the flu are driving up a need for blood. But first, Plymouth police investigate the city's first homicide of the year. CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. A fight went too far in Plymouth late Monday night.
Now, one man is dead and another one is in jail. Police say a family member of one of the men called 911 just after midnight Tuesday and reported a fight. When police and paramedics arrived at the Stoneleigh Apartments, they found one man dead from a stab wound. Police arrested the other man, a 25-year-old from Plymouth, and he is awaiting charges. Police say the two men did know each other.
At this particular point, no, there's no further current threat to the community or any danger to anyone in that apartment complex.
Plymouth police are still investigating what happened. The Hennepin County Crime Lab is helping with the investigation. There are many risks that come with a career in law enforcement.
One of those is handling traffic stops or responding to an accident. As Eric Nelson found out, that has been a challenge for community service officers in Maple Grove.
Someone just struck our patrol cars.
There's potential to have serious injury or death in dealing with traffic accidents on the side of the road and or stall vehicles for our community service officers.
On the interstates and city streets, things can get dicey real quick for officers involved in traffic stops or accident response.
Being on the highway especially is a very scary place to be, especially in the winter time. You see videos all over the place of cars sliding into each other, not being able to stop.
Maple Grove community service officers have been involved in some scary situations in the past 12.5 months. During that time, 3 of their vehicles were struck while providing roadside assistance.
They have 4 vehicles in our fleet assigned to them, and it very quickly put 3 out of service.
I was sitting right about here. I got tossed into the shoulder over here.
CSO Brandon Gross was involved in one of the collisions when he was responding to an accident near I-94 and Highway 610.
It was kind of scary. I wanted to make sure that the other person was okay, because I got out and I saw their vehicle, and their vehicle was pretty smashed up.
This is something that's high risk and high frequency, and we deal with it a lot.
Because of their high-risk profession, CSOs and police officers are trained to always be aware when they are out of their vehicle.
Definitely a high priority to pay attention to.
Been involved with accidents on the freeway where I've looked up and I've seen a larger vehicle spinning out of control, and on a few occasions I've had to run down the ditch to safety.
When drivers see an officer on the side of the road, they need to do a couple of things.
Slow down when they see the emergency vehicles stopped on the side of the road, to give them adequate space so all the people on the scene can work safely.
In Maple Grove, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
Community service officers in Maple Grove are in training to become future police officers.
A push to change how Osseo school board members get elected continues. A group of faith leaders, teachers, and parents held their first community meeting on the issue. Those who spoke feel the current school board doesn't match the racial identity of the district. The meeting was held in Maple Grove, where 5 of the 6 current Osseo school board members live. Group leaders are pushing for members getting elected from geographical districts rather than at large, which is the case now. They say it would allow other cities such as Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center to be more fairly represented.
People were ignorant, has been my experience. They didn't realize that we had a situation where there were 5 people from one community representing these 8 cities on the school board. So it's really been a matter of just getting the word out to people to understand that they aren't being represented very well right now, and this would be a much better way, in our opinion, to have people be fully represented.
At previous board meetings, some Brooklyn Park parents did speak up about supporting the current school board structure. They say the at-large system works because many parents choose to open enroll at schools across the district. district. So far, the Osseo School Board has declined to take up the issue. The group pushing for change is working to collect 13,000 signatures, which under state statute would automatically trigger a ballot question.
January is National Blood Donor Month, and the American Red Cross says it needs donations even more than usual. Red Cross officials say severe weather has forced them to cancel more than 150 blood drives this year. Between that and illnesses like the flu, the Red Cross got 28,000 fewer donations than expected in November and December. That shortage could cause some surgeries to be postponed or even canceled.
The Red Cross needs to collect about 13,000 units of blood every single day to meet patient demand. So when we get behind, it is of concern. We want to do everything we can to make sure that blood is available for patients when they need it.
There are two ways you can help in the next few days. There's a blood drive in Brooklyn Park at the Community Activity Center on Thursday from 9 to 3 and another in Plymouth on Friday the 12th at Culver's on Peony Lane from 11 to 5. You can find other places and times to donate at redcrossblood.org.
Beer lovers in Brooklyn Park can howl and rejoice because Blue Wolf Brewing is coming to town. The City Council approved liquor licenses for the city's first tap room. Blue Wolf Brewing will open in a shopping center next to Broadway Pizza and near Festival Foods. No food would be served at the tap room, but the brewery owners will allow people to bring in their own food or make an order from a nearby restaurant. Blue Wolf hopes to open in a few weeks in time for the Super Bowl. The Brooklyn Park City Council also approved plans for new market-rate apartments, as well as a new senior assisted living building. St. Cloud-based Trident Development plans to build 207 apartment units on a site south of Highway 610 and east of Zane Avenue. The apartments would include pickleball courts, a swimming pool, and underground parking. The assisted living building would be 103 units. City officials did hear concerns about traffic on 93rd Avenue, as well as the city having too many apartments. According to city officials, the city is in the lower half for apartments compared to other cities. We'll still ahead on CCX News how the largest high school in the state tries to make every student feel included. That's next in School Spotlight.
Plus, the Maple Grove girls hockey team has improved rapidly through the middle of the season. We catch up with them later in sports.
But first, a Wednesday wake-up call. After a warm start, we get another cold dose of reality. We'll be right back. In December, USA Today ranked Wayzata High School in Plymouth as the best high school in Minnesota.
The ranking is based on data that range from student to teacher ratios and standardized test scores to graduation rates, but it's also known for community service. In today's School Spotlight, we take a closer look at Wayzata's giving culture.
Wayzata High School is a pretty special place.
The campus of Wayzata High School in Plymouth could easily be mistaken for a small college.
It is officially the largest school in the state of Minnesota.
At last count, the school had an enrollment of more than 3,400 students in grades 9 through 12.
I know when I was a freshman it was a little intimidating because you're going from a middle school which was just 2 floors and not very big and all your classes are in one area to this school which they just added a whole new wing into it and everything.
The principal looks at the school's size as a positive feature.
The larger we are, the more we're able to provide opportunities and meet the different needs of individuals.
If you talk to some of the students,
it doesn't feel that big when you're in classes.
Many will say that they get acclimated quickly, in large part because of extracurricular activities.
You have like these clubs and activities that really kind of create a bonding point for you.
And Keita Kundu is part of an organization called Club YES, which is short for Youth Extending Service.
Then how would you organize that?
More than 800 students are involved in Club YES, and those students take part in service projects all across the Twin Cities.
Many organizations in our community rely on Club YES volunteers. The IOCP Food Shelf and many of their initiatives heavily rely on Club YES. Our elementary schools, many of our senior citizen living centers rely on Club YES.
The service projects are not only a way for the students to give back, they also acquire some valuable skills in the process.
Being leaders, of stepping up to solve problems, stepping up to take initiative and make a difference where they see they can.
Green eggs and ham, page 2, set, hut!
Which leads us to their current initiative. At every school in the Wayzata School District, drop-off boxes are set up for people to donate books, school supplies, games, sports equipment, and cell phones.
We're giving all of the materials to schools that are in need throughout the state. So that's really the main aspect of why it's so cool. We're giving back to other schools in need. Wayzata's
Super Kids Super Sharing initiative is being done in partnership with the NFL and Super Bowl 52. Club YES students put together this video with the school district's help to promote the program.
I'm amazed by this. This is great. I mean, like, if we can keep this up for like the rest of the week.
Between now and January 17th, they hope to collect enough supplies to fill several trucks that will go to schools in need.
We're dedicating ourselves to the community and helping out, and this initiative is definitely a big part of who we are and just like defines the culture within the school.
While Wayzata certainly has a culture of giving back, the school also has a reputation of providing students with the tools they need to be successful.
I've always had like a supportive community from all different clubs, and it's been a very great experience.
The Super Kids Super Sharing event goes from now through January 17th. On January 18th, they'll take all of the supplies to a drop-off site in Edina to help benefit students in other Minnesota school districts. Well, still ahead, the fight against grime in Brooklyn Park.
But first, the Champlin Park girls basketball team is on a great roll as they pursue a conference title. Jay Wilcox has their story coming up next in sports.
I'm Jay Wilcox with sports. The Champlin Park girls basketball team is putting together a very strong season, and they hope to stay on a roll. The Rebels are 9-2 and have won 6 straight games heading into Tuesday night's game against Osseo. The 2 losses were to quality Maple Grove and Minnetonka teams, and the Rebels own key wins over top 10 squads Centennial and Cretin-Durham Hall.
And we lost to Maple Grove and we lost to Minnetonka, which was really tough. But then going into the next week with playing Centennial and beating Centennial at their home, and then the following week and a half later we beat Cretin-Durham Hall. It's a huge confidence booster for us.
It's always nice to have good wins early in the season just because it helps with confidence throughout the rest of the season, and it gives girls confidence that they know they can step on the floor against pretty much anybody and hopefully come in and compete.
And front court talent, Champlin Park could be a strong contender to win a section title this season. With the win over Centennial, the Rebels are the only unbeaten team in North Division play in the Northwest Suburban, and they admit winning a conference championship would be special.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. It was definitely one of our goals at the beginning of the season, so we just talk about things that we need to work on that we necessarily didn't perfect last year, so just constantly working and getting 1% better every day.
The Rebels are at Osseo Tuesday night before hosting Andover on Thursday. In girls hockey, Maple Grove has a much younger team this winter than the past couple of seasons, but things are really starting to click for the Crimson. They've come a very long way in 2 months. A Maple Grove squad that had a lot of young players in the lineup was unsure how things would go this season in mid-November, and they've made tons of progress.
And our coaches have been on us about emphasizing like back check, be disciplined, forward check, and we've been working a ton on all of our systems, and seeing us grow has been super fun.
Each and every week we try and focus on 1 or 2 little things to try and get better at, and in the games that we play that week, we see those skills show up in the games, and then we can see that we're a little further ahead. It's very fun to see their growth, and it's attributed to them and their work ethic.
Maple Grove's had excellent teams the past couple of seasons, but a lot of talent graduated. Now they're 11-4-2 coming into Tuesday night, and 6-0-2 in their last 8 games. That includes winning a tough Edina holiday tournament.
It was super fun. I mean, all the competition was really awesome, and it was good to see how far we've come already. And we played as a team, I think, out there, and it was just an all-around just good tournament.
The Crimson lost to Section 5AA foes Centennial and Blaine earlier, but tied Centennial in the rematch and faced Blaine this weekend. the gap has narrowed in a hurry, which could make the playoffs pretty exciting.
I mean, they're good teams, and it's going to be fun games either way, and I think hopefully we're just building that momentum and staying positive, and we'll see what happens, I guess. So.
After playing at Andover Tuesday night, Maple Grove hosts Blaine in a key game Saturday afternoon at 3:15. Well, Mannon McMahon of Maple Grove is enjoying a great season on the ice after an equally good soccer season. John Jacobson profiles McMahon on this week's Sports Jam show here on CCX. Here's a clip from that story.
Mannon McMahon has already played on 2 section championship teams at Maple Grove. He was a freshman on the Crimson's 2016 Class 2A runner-up hockey team, and just this fall was part of the first ever girls soccer team from the school to win a section title. The junior loves playing both and how each sport helps her in the other.
Yeah, definitely soccer. I mean, it impacts me in hockey too, and hockey impacts me in soccer too. So it's 2 sports that are kind of similar in a lot of ways. So it helps me in both sports. So it's really awesome.
I think athletes are athletes, and they're going to make plays whether they're playing 1 sport or 3 sports. For me, I like the kids to get off their skates and do something different. I think that passion and that love comes back, but they also have less risk of overuse or overtraining. And
watch the rest of the Mannon McMahon story and much more on Sports Jam. It's on through Wednesday at 3:30, 6:30, and 9:30 p.m. on CCX and online at ccxmedia.org. That's all for sports. Alex and Delane, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Jay. Up next, perfect days to wash the dirt away.
Where people took pride in their ride when we come back. Well, finally, what a difference a couple days make.
You can see the difference at one of the most popular places around town. Car after car have lined up over the last few days in Brooklyn Park to get a thorough soaking. It was the optimal day for a car wash with sunshine and temperatures that felt like we turned the calendar ahead to March. Of course, January 2.0 is just ahead of us. Thursday, we could get some snow, and that's followed by more sub-zero cold, so you could say it is wash, rinse, repeat. Boom.
Only in Minnesota will we get excited about 30-degree temperatures.
That's exactly right. We'll take it, though.
Yeah,
that does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
We'll see you back here again tomorrow, starting at 4.